I don't think it's a time to like give up and wallow. I think it's a time to figure out how can you use this time to benefit you and your business, and find new ways to, improve. And you have to find the positive in this situation. Otherwise, you won't make it and you will end up failing. And that is not what people want.
Welcome to the Wear, Wag, Repeat podcast. I'm Tori Mystic. As a dog mom lifestyle expert, blogger, and business owner, I love talking to other women in the pet industry and sharing their advice with you every week. Sit, stay, and listen to the latest episode. In today's episode, I'm talking to Dani Pedraza, who runs a dog walking company as well as a popular Instagram feature account. We talk about how she uses her large following online to help raise awareness for pet adoption. And in light of everything going on in the world lately, Dani talks about how she and her business partner are getting creative to find ways for their dog walking business to generate income online. If you're feeling stuck and not sure how your pet industry business can grow online, I would love to teach you what I've learned about growing a pet Instagram account. As you'll hear on this episode, having an engaged Instagram community can allow you to connect with current customers and reach people all over the world. Enrollment in my online course, Instagram Strategy for the Pet Obsessed, aka INSPO, is open now. Go to wearwagrepeat.com/inspo to learn all about it. There are some great bonuses and even a few scholarships available. So make sure you check it out today at wearwagrepeat.com/INSPO. Dani Pedraza is a certified dog trainer, the founder of the lovable Pups and Coffee Instagram account, and an owner of a dog walking company called the Big City Woof Walker. In 2016, her life became all things dogs when she created Pups and Coffee, an Instagram account, and began hosting adoption events around New York City to raise awareness and donations for animal shelters. Her passion and love for animals, especially dogs, inspired her to become a professional dog walker. In 2017, she established the Big City Woof Walker, which is a woman-owned dog walking and pet care company serving clients in New York City and Chicago. Their mission is to focus on dog walking with a personal touch to create strong bonds and companionship between the walker and your pet. Hey, Dani.
Hi, Tori. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on here. Of course, we met through Instagram, through your Pups and Coffee account. And so I always love making new dog friends through Instagram. I think that's where like my entire social circle lives now.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit, I read off in your bio that Pups and Coffee is an Instagram account that you started. And I guess it was to promote these adoption events that you were having, but tell us how exactly you started that account and how it tied into these adoption events.
Yes, absolutely. So when I was back in college, I was a sophomore. I started dog walking in New York City, and I have coffee around with me and take photos of the dogs with the cup of coffee. I thought it was aesthetically pleasing. I just thought it was super cute to send to the clients in their update, and they really enjoyed that. And I created an account, the Pups and Coffee account, and the hashtag PupsNCoffee, and started to see that other people were picking up on that hashtag, taking photos of their dogs with a cup of coffee and sharing that. And so I started reposting. So not only my content, but other people's content. And it eventually grew into this community of people who love dogs and coffee. And I realized that once there was more of a following, there was more opportunity to promote adoptions and animal shelters around the city. And that led me to connecting with people who were running the animal shelters and post the dogs on our account who were up for adoption, which led me to wanting to host events and using coffee that was donated by other coffee companies to raise the donations for the animal shelters that we were promoting. And so we would create these adoption events where the dogs from the animal shelters were there so that people were able to interact with them and see what dogs were up for adoption. And then the coffee, they would get a cup of coffee for the donation of their choosing, and all of that would go towards the animal shelter. And so we've been doing this for a handful of years, and it's just been so amazing and a great opportunity for more animal shelter dogs to have exposure.
That is such a fun idea, and I love like the little twist on, having like the coffee theme to everything. I think that, of course, we all love dog photos. Like, what's not to like about dog photos? But
Totally.
but having like the coffee be a part of it, and having like that consistency of like how to creatively take a picture with the coffee cup or a mug with the different kind of dogs, it lends like a lot of recognizability, I guess, if that's a word, to your account and to your events. It kind of like brands them, which is such a cool idea.
Yeah, thank you. I just realized that people really enjoyed, not because it's not just photos of dogs, and it could, that could be like any account, but I think people really do like that consistency with the theme, and I think that makes it stand out, and so they're more drawn to that because it's unique. And then they know that, oh, if I take a photo with my dog with this cup of coffee, maybe I'll be featured, and it just, extends this continuous, cycle of people who want to continue following it. And I think that that really draws people in, and it helps create opportunity for messages that we want to talk about in the animal shelter community, and have more exposure for them, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's really cool, how you're using your platform for good, because I think there's so many feature accounts out there. I'm a chocolate lab person. And so there are chocolate lab feature accounts, and I'm always using the hashtag. But I kind of wonder, what are those accounts like getting out of this? Like, are they trying to sell products or trying to promote something? Or are they just trying to get more followers for the sake of followers? Which is fine. You just have to kind of know what your goal is. But for you, I think it's so wonderful that you kind of use this platform to promote pet adoption. It's almost like how celebrities can use their voice to help a certain cause or something like that. You have to use your influence for good.
Yeah, it's definitely really motivating for me because it can get really repetitive to post the same thing technically over and over again. So for me, I feel like there's definite purpose in the platform, which I have posted a photo once or twice a day for the past several years. So it's something that continues to push me and provides that motivation to know that this is for good, and this will help people either bring a smile to their face or maybe encourage people to adopt, or just overall, have something positive on their news feed, instead of, especially right now, during these
Yes.
times, focusing on such a scary world that we're living in currently. And so hopefully it brings that smile to their face on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love that. And I think just sharing positivity and making someone smile is in and of itself very impactful. So I'm wondering, you started the account in around 2016, so that was like 4 years ago, almost, I guess, depending on when you started it. Is there anything that you have found out along that time about running a feature account or running a pet industry account that you like wish you had known earlier?
That's so interesting. Feel that it's I feel like I learned so much just by experience and kind of having just doing it on my own. So there's a lot of platforms out there where you can, schedule your posts, you can put in your hashtags, and I don't use those. I feel like I probably could, and that's something that I probably will, learn to do, but I'm such a do it in the moment, very present type of person. And I like to choose the photos that I'm using and the captions that I'm using just in that moment. So I think that that has been something that I'm learning works really well for me. And I know that other people apply different techniques and structure to their accounts in different ways. But overall, it's taught me that, staying relevant is really important. I also run my dog walking Instagram account. And so that helps me learn like what's relevant now, staying up with the hashtags, determining how to promote yourself using your social media platform. So that's everything that I have taken away from using Pups and Coffee and having that experience.
Yeah, it's really cool because Pups and Coffee has like over 20,000 followers, and like in my experience, my Team Mystic account, I have like 40,000 followers or something, and I can learn so much because you're playing on a bigger scale.
Yes.
And then when you go and apply what you're learning to like your smaller accounts, like your dog walking account or my Wear, Wag, Repeat, that only have like a couple thousand. I think I have like 1,000 on my Wear, Wag, Repeat account. But when you're playing with like those bigger numbers, you can kind of see the trends a lot better, and you can just experiment. The data is just a lot more easier to read because you're playing with bigger numbers.
Yeah, definitely. And I take that analytics and like the time of day that people are on, and the way that they engage with me on that larger scale account definitely impacts the way that I run the smaller accounts that I use for my businesses.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about your businesses. Big City Wolf Walker. You have dog walkers in New York City and Chicago, and you're living in Chicago now, right?
Yes, I'm based in Chicago, and then my business partner, Marin, is in New York City.
And how many dog walkers do you guys have working for you?
So we have 40 dog walkers in New York City, and we have about 2 dog walkers in Chicago. So the Chicago branch just started. It's on a smaller scale, but we're slowly growing here, which is exciting. And the team is slowly growing here, which is exciting. But we do have more clients in New York City. We have more team members in New York City. And so that's our base. That's where we started.
Yeah. And so we can't like ignore what's going on in the world right now with coronavirus and everything. How has that impacted dog walking? From my perspective, it kind of seems like there's a lot of different things going on. People are home with their dogs more, but they're also trying to work remotely, and their dogs are maybe getting in their way. So how has all of this impacted your business?
Yeah, so it's impacted us drastically. We definitely have lost I would say, almost 100% of our clientele on a day to day basis, which is really devastating for a small business. But we are seen as an essential service. And so, what we've done so far is, see who in our client base in New York City and Chicago are healthcare workers who are in need of pet care. And we've offered them a significant discount to provide these essential services to them if they need it. So that's the priority. We don't really want to focus on spreading coronavirus. And
Hmm.
so if we don't need to go to a client's home, we don't want to put the client in that position, and we don't want to put the dog walker in that position. And so we figured out there have been a handful of people who do need the service because they are working, 13 plus hour shifts, and they do have a dog. And so thankfully, we do have a couple clients who still need us, which is so helpful. We have currently one member on the ground who is tending to the essential services. We did give the walkers the option to say, hey, we don't want to force you in any situation. You are not obligated to continue services. You can choose whether to stay home, or if you wanted to help with essential services, let us know. So most of our team, the majority of our team, took a step back for their own safety, and that is totally fine. We appreciate them for that. And then we do have one walker who is helping with the essential services, which is extremely amazing. And he's taking extra safety precautions, such as wiping the dog's paws when they come back inside, wiping down the leashes, taking his shoes off before he goes into the apartment, having hand sanitizer on, having a mask, making sure that the handoffs are there's social distance between the client and the walker. So we're taking all of these extreme safety precautions, and that's been allowing us to continue some services. But yes, it has been extremely devastating for our small business. But we're pushing through and trying to find other ways to continue to be here at the end of this when this is all over.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to hear like what a compassionate approach you've taken to this. It sounds like you're not freaking out, at least not now. And you're really thoughtfully considering I think like the core values of your company and like helping the people who really need it. And it's just really wonderful, and I think it sounds like you're doing an amazing job with all of that.
Thank you. We're trying. And we do have, we're unique to the situation in the sense that we're a personal service. And so what we do is we pair the client who has weekly recurring services to a dog walker, and they form this relationship and bond with their walker. And so it is helpful to know that we have a community, and these people who rely so heavily on their dog walker, even when they're not working from home or
Mm-hmm.
having the need for the dog walker, they really go out of their way, and they have been going out of their way to still take care of their dog walker, whether that's paying for the full amount of their service bill each week, even though the services are canceled, or a percentage of that, or even offering to donate to our company. So we've had a huge amount of support from our Big City Woof family, and I think that's really helpful and amazing to know that the amount of passion and investment that we have put in to ensure that their pets safety is number one priority, and we're pairing them with dog walkers who are trained and have to go through this rigorous training program that we've created just to ensure that there's above and beyond service. They really are taking care of us right now, and that has been amazing.
I've been thinking about all of this so much lately, and just how the people who are really needed and who are doing what they're best at doing, so taking care of dogs or something like that. I feel like if you really know what your value is and you're like living your truest purpose in life, that you are going to come out of this okay. I think that this is going to force a lot of people to kind of reconsider their career choices. And maybe more people will decide to work with dogs.
I hope so.
When all of this is over. Something that you've probably seen, it's been all over the news, is that animal adoptions are way up, and fostering is way up. So there is definitely in the future, if we can get through this, going to be a huge need for a lot of pet care in the future.
Yeah, and that, this is such a time where your perspective really matters in terms on how you're going to push through the situation. And I think that what we are trying to do is think so positively, even though we're suffering right now on a business level, of course, and suffering personally because we're impacted by this change. But I think we have to find those positives and say, exactly what you just said of like, there might be more need, and there probably will be more need for pet care services in the future. And thinking of positive ways to get through this, and to know, right now we're like trying to figure out, we have the time where we can sit there and maybe look through our website and determine what changes can we make to our website to stand out from the crowd, or to work on the internal stuff so that when this is all said and done, we're ready to come back and fight for our business again. I don't think it's a time to like give up and wallow. I think it's a time to figure out how can you use this time to benefit you and your business, and find new ways to, improve. And, social media in itself is a great opportunity for that. Like, what can you do to, have your services online somehow, stuff like that. It's like you have to find the positive in the situation. Otherwise you won't make it, and you will end up failing. And that is not what people want.
No, people don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. And in order to get the economy back on its feet, people need to hire service providers too. So once we're all allowed to leave our houses, we can do that. So like, thinking constructively and positively, what are some things that you have come up with to do online to grow your business while you can't really operate at full steam?
Yeah, definitely. So we are not dog trainers. Like, I am, but we don't technically offer that service in New York City at this time, but we could, right? So we could turn that into an online community, an online market where we're offering dog training services. And that's on the table for us. And we're thinking of ways on how to do that so that people who are home with their dog, they, sometimes the dog is distracting them because now their owner is home and they just want all the attention. And so dog training is such a great way to, help your dogs, stimulate your dog and drain your dog's energy. And so that's a great service to provide online. And that is essentially the next step for us, right? Like, creating that program and seeing, okay, how can we promote this? How can we sell it? How do we engage our online community? And what's so great about the online community is that it's technically not always every single client that we have. It's people who don't live in New York City or Chicago, and they can, attend our classes online. So just using that platform to sell services to that degree, or working with, a retail company and, maybe creating an online account for like dog balls or something like that, something that our clients would have access to and want and is relevant. So, I mean, there's so many different ideas that you can put out there and use. But that's essentially what we're trying to do right now, is trying to figure out how else can we utilize our platform, our services, and come out on top of this.
Yeah. Well, and like, rewind to the beginning of our conversation and talking about how you leveraged Pups and Coffee to raise awareness and help get dogs adopted. You already kind of know how to leverage your online community. So you're, way ahead of the game.
I hope so.
I think you are. And it sounds like I think it's all about just having creative ideas are so important. But if you're listening to this, try to think of 20 creative ideas you could do online. And if you can't think of 20, I heard some kind of online entrepreneur expert say that you should write down 30 ideas. And that's kind of counterintuitive, but if you're trying to think of 20 ideas and you can't, it's probably because you're taking it too seriously and you're being like too literal and too strict with yourself. So if you go and try to write down 30 ideas, it means that you're going to just be thinking way outside the box, and you might come up with like a few really, really good ones out of that big long list. So that's just like a fun little exercise that I've been doing myself since
awesome.
I have a lot of time. I can write down like endless ideas.
Oh, it's amazing. That's a great idea.
Well, so Dani, tell us, I always love to ask my listeners about your favorite tools or resources that you use. I know a lot of dog walkers are really curious about what like software you use to manage clients and scheduling and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any advice for that?
Oh my gosh, yes. So we use this software called Time to Pet, and it's incredible. We love them. They have everything that you need, which is why we chose to go with this software. So you can do your scheduling, you can do your invoicing, you see where all your keys are located. You keep track of the pet's birthdays. They also have in each profile, like a client profile, there's different tasks that you can assign, saying like a specific note about like, don't charge this client's card on Friday. They want to pay on Monday. Like anything is available to you. And so I highly advise to use Time to Pet. And it's also a mobile app. So your clients can access the mobile app. They can access the online database. It's amazing. And it's been a lifesaver for us. It's changed the entire way that we've done business, and it helped us grow so much when we first started, because we used to keep track of everything on like a Google Note doc or a in their contact in the notes section. We would have all of the information about the dog on that. And then once we were able to transition over to this platform, we just skyrocketed with the amount of time that we saved and how efficient it was. So I highly suggest that program. I'm a huge fan of theirs. They are awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and they're really great about like getting back to you if you have a question. So I'm all for it.
All right, cool. Well, Dani, it's been so much fun talking to you, even though it's like kind of a weird, somber time with everyone's businesses. I think that that you have such a great mentality about, staying positive and coming up with creative solutions. So I just want to thank you so much for your time and talking to us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was so fun, and it gave me something to look forward to today. I got my hair done, even though it's a podcast. I curled my hair, so you motivated me.
It's all about the little things.
That's true.
Well, tell everyone listening where they can find you online.
Yes, absolutely. So for the Pups and Coffee, you can follow us on Instagram at pups and then N and then coffee. That is the account name. And then for Big City Woof, our Instagram name is The Big City Woof, WOOF. And then our website is thebigcitywoofwalker.com.
Awesome. We'll all check that out soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What did you like most about this episode? Find me on Instagram at TMystic and let me know what intrigued you or what questions you have about starting or growing your own dog-inspired business. You can also screenshot this episode and tag me in your stories. I love to see who is listening out there. Some of the best conversations happen after the episode, right? So track me down over on Instagram or join the Wear, Wag, Repeat Labs Facebook group to connect with other dog-obsessed entrepreneurs. And as always, you can find all the links and resources discussed in this episode at wearwagrepeat.com/podcast. See you back here next week.